Hi and welcome to this video log with me, Wayne, from swimmingcyclingrunning.com. This week we're going to run through a problem for most club swimmers, and that is the problem of backstroke starts from a block. Now, a lot of swimmers just flop into the water and don't do a good backstroke start at all, but they all try and do a backstroke start, and sometimes that ruins what could have been a reasonably good drop and drive instead of trying to go over the water. To get over the water, you've got to do certain things correctly. So we're going to have a look at the video, see some people doing it really well, and to some extent other people doing it less well in different degrees.
Okay, so here we are looking at Jack, a national backstroke swimmer. He's just about to do his start. Let's just roll that forward. Now notice he's pulled himself into an upright position, and what he's trying to do is get his body weight all in one line. His head's pointed backwards, but notice his back is straight, it's not curved. Poorly drawn that, but if his back was curved, he'd be actually adjusting his centre of gravity. He wants his centre of gravity to be about there. Now let's just roll the start. Notice he gets completely over the water and immediately into a low position, but from that position he drives dead straight to the surface of the water. There's no curving here at all. So he's come from that position and he's going straight up to the surface if he can. Drives to the surface and he gets up there with a really strong backstroke kick, and one major stroke gets into the surface, and that strong backstroke kick just drives into the surface there. Looking at that again, I'm going to put it in slow motion, and you can see you get the go command, but he's not letting go of the bar. He has to generate power backwards before he can let go. None of us can defy gravity, and if he let go there, all he would do is drop back into the water. He would just slip back into the water there, which is something we don't actually want to do. So instead he holds on, and then when he's got some power, releases and gets that over the water effect, which you need in the backstroke start to get a really good start. So he's holding on your marks, go. He's already going, his legs go, but his hands do not release. Most important, because a lot of people just let go of the bar as soon as they hear the go, and of course they drop back into the water. Okay, we're just going to have a look at Daniel, who's another good swimmer, a regional swimmer, and let's see how his start goes initially.
Go.
Now that looks really good, doesn't it? But there's something different to Jack's start, wasn't there? If we look at it again,
On your marks.
when we take the on your marks, he's actually curving his back, so he's pushing his balance of weight forward, and he's doing that for a specific reason, because he's very much balanced on this trough in the water. And that's okay in a pool like the one we're practicing in, but when we go to a pool with a flat end, which is most competition pools at big competitions, you won't have that. So effectively he's creating a crutch for himself. And when we say go, he's letting go, but he's staying up above the surface because he's balanced there, not because he's generated power in his legs. If you look, there's virtually no power in his legs until there. And if you compare it with Jack's, Jack actually had power initially and then drove back, which means that he's slightly flatter in the water. His feet haven't actually come out the water ever, whereas Jack's feet were well out the water because he generated backwards propulsion. So there's the difference, and it's a big problem when you have a trough, that people tend to balance on it, and that's exactly what Daniel's doing there. Now this is a more normal start from the average swimmer.
Go.
There we go, you see it drops straight back into the water. And although we've got some underwater kicks, we've not got a very good speed through the water. Now let's have a look at that. We're holding ourselves forward and not getting up at all, and then the head goes back and the arms release, and then the power comes on. So the power has to go through the water. You can see that there, can't you? It's going through the water as opposed to up above the water. And if you let go before you've developed power, you see there's already a drop with the head going back. Effectively the power should come on, the head should not have gone back, then the hands release, then the head gone back. And you can see that just drops straight back into the water. There's no way she can defy gravity, and that's what happens there. Okay, here we're looking at another type of error. Let's just have a look at the...
Marks. Go.
There we go. You see, the swimmer didn't really get over the water. Why was that? It looked pretty good to start with, didn't it?
On your marks.
So let's have a look at the position he gets into. And you can see there's a lot of power here in the arms, but the actual body, instead of being up... That was a bad drawing, wasn't it? Instead of being upright, is actually pointing backwards, and then the head's backwards again, so that's dropping back even further. The bum isn't out the water, and the knees are slightly too bent. You can't push very well with the knees too bent like that. We needed them to be slightly more open, as they were with Jack. So what happens when the start occurs? It's on your marks and go, and you can see, because he's pointing backwards, that's exactly the place he's starting to push. He does develop a little bit of power before he lets go, but not much. If he developed more, he would actually get much higher out the water. So we need to develop a little bit more power before he lets go and not be leaning back so far, because then he just drags his buttocks through the water. As you can see, he doesn't get any over the water ability at all. But again, once he's in the water, he's trying to kick in a streamlined position. So once again, try to get your body weight straight up instead of leaning backwards. Otherwise, you're already toppling backwards, and you don't want to be toppling backwards before you do a backwards start.
Okay, so there you have it. To get a good backstroke start, you want your weight over your centre of gravity as much as you can get it. You want a straight back. If you curve your back backwards, you'll just be dropping in the water. If you curve it forwards, you're just trying to balance over your front foot, which you can't do if you've got a flat wall. You then need to get some power before you release those arms, and then release them and go backwards. If you release your arms from the bars or hands from the bars, you cannot defy gravity. You're going to fall back into the water. There's nothing you can do about that. Timing it is the difficulty. If you put too much, you're going to go too high. If you delay too long, you're going to go too high. If you release too early, you're going to drop back in the water. That's a fine dividing line which each individual swimmer will find for themselves. But they do have to practice it the right way. Okay, hopefully that's helped you as a club swimmer. Hopefully that's helped you as a non-club swimmer. All right, next week we'll do something different. Thanks very much for watching. See you soon. Keep well.